The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
Hey everyone, this is Stevie Richards. I'm here to tell you don't necessarily need all this equipment to get in the best shape of your life. All you need is this, a resistance band. I'm so proud to offer the 12-week resistance band training program, the most affordable, accessible workout program out there. And what do I mean by accessible? You can do it anywhere. And by anywhere, I mean anywhere. The 12-week resistance band training program also offers full overview videos, instructions for each and every exercise, as well as modifications for those exercises. We also offer an amazing support community through a closed Facebook group created by the users of the 12-week resistance band training program, as well as direct email support with me. So join all the other inspirational stories and testimonials and get the 12-week resistance band training program. And remember, if you have any questions, feel free to email me, StevieRichardsFitness@gmail.com. Thank you, God bless you, and remember, I'm here every step of the way to help you through this fitness journey.
Oh shit! It's Vince Russo!
Vince McMahon's best kept secret.
I am the Antichrist of professional wrestling.
David Arquette won the world title.
I've got a wife, 3 kids at home, and I really don't need this shit.
How can this show be so awful, Mr. McMahon? I didn't think it was.
Viagra on a pole match.
And Hogan, you big bald son of a bitch, kiss my ass.
Judy Bagwell on a forklift match. McMahon, the family, the Rock, they screwed us all.
Now you're the editor, right?
Mankind did it! Jumpy, beep, beep. Goldberg steered Russo out of the cage.
I'm from New York.
I'll get downright nasty.
This is Vince Russo's The Brand.
All right, everybody. It is Monday morning if you're listening to this show, but right now it is Sunday night, and Hell in a Cell just ended, bro. And initially, I thought I was going to do this review with Vito LaGrassa, but I called Vito, and, you know, Vito's got to work early in the morning, yada, yada, yada. Then I was going to go to the bullpen. I was going to call in Jeff Lane from the bullpen. He wanted to do it tomorrow morning, and I'm like, nah, bro, it's fresh on my mind. I want to get this over with. So I was all set, bro, to do this show by myself. Then all of a sudden, bro, the skies opened. A gift from God or a gift from Allah, bro. Yes. The great Bin Hamin. Bin, this is the first time, bro. It's been just you and I doing a show together, bro.
It's about time, man. I'm tired of all these other jabronis getting in our way all the time when the real genius is about to flow here.
Yeah, is there anybody we want to bury? Do we want to bury Stevie or Papa Don's always a good? Anybody we want to bury since it's just me and you, bro?
I mean, Stevie, man, it's getting me upset because he just keeps looking better and better and
Unbelievable, that Stevie. It's a freak of nature, bro. He's a guy's a freak.
Much, bro. You know, like, I just feel guilty every time I go and eat now, comparatively, like with this guy. You know, it's love having him on everything, but he just sets a standard that is it's obviously attainable. You know, he's got 5 years on me, but man, just the work ethic, it's too much. I can't even come home and bitch about doing 75 hours a week or whatever because of this guy, you know.
I swear that's why, like, a lot of times, Ben, I'm so ready to, like, use my age as an excuse, but then I see Paige, and then I see Stevie, and then I see Disco. And I'm like, bro, my age has nothing to do with it. I'm a lazy SOB, bro.
Yep, it's all about that, man. You know, I hear Rip Rogers calling me Pops, you fat bastard. You know, I'm over there hacking up along in the middle of practice into the garbage can, man. But that's the work ethic you got to do. So we just gotta support each other, Vince, because we're never gonna be able to.
No, we never, because that is such a level of dedication, Ben, and a lifestyle. I just don't have it, bro. You know, Ben, I had it for a while and I lost like 40 pounds, bro. But I got honest with you. I just got to the point of I was tired of not eating what I wanted to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, you get to that point of you know, how many trips around the sun do we get, and am I gonna, you know, starve myself for some fashion sense or sense of vanity instead of indulging and doing what I want to before I get snuffed out.
And speaking of trips around the sun, I just spent like 4 hours. I'm never getting back anytime soon. But I'm going to be very fair, Ben, because, you know, I did this on Twitch. I paid close attention. You know, I watched everything. I took some really nice notes. I think you're going to be proud of me, bro.
Okay, we'll see. I don't know if you watched everything because I was watching your Twitch feed too, and you were watching comments a lot. So I don't know. We'll see how much devil in the details for Hell in the Cell for you.
Yeah. Okay, you got me there, bro. But Ben, one thing I got to say, a lot of people were belly aching.
Yeah,
bro, you know, I was the guy. I was the guy that was there for the original Hell in a Cell, and been like, not to put myself over. And you know, of course, Cornette will say tomorrow that this isn't true and this and that. Ben, I actually gave Hell in the Cell the name.
Really excellent.
Yeah, because bro, what happened? If you want to go back to the history, Ben, because I was in Vince McMahon's, living room.
Yep.
Taker and Shawn were booked to have a cage match. Taker and Shawn, they did not want to be held within the confines of the cage. So Vince said to me, yeah, bro, we're thinking of making this bigger structure that the ring actually sits in. Right. So Shawn and Taker can work the outside of the ring. And then, he told me about the structure and what it was going to look like and whatnot. And he asked me for a name, Ben. I just went right to the rhyming shit, right. As basic as could be. And I threw out to Vince, well, how about Hell in a Cell? And, Vince liked that. And, that's what it's been for the last 20 years. But that's really how it originated, bro. Taker and Shawn did not want to work within the confines of the traditional steel cage.
That's phenomenal, man. I mean, sometimes it's just there and it all just comes together pretty quick instead of having to, go back and forth and talk it to death. It all just clicks and works.
Boom, it was like that, bro. Today I can imagine what that would have taken.
Yeah. Well, one of the funny things is I don't know if you watched the pre-show with New Day.
I did not.
So they come down and do a promo, and they were doing kind of master shoot theater like Rib and Vince because I think it was Kofi was doing the promo, and he goes, and it's going to be at Hell in a Cell. Like he really got into it. Like you could just hear that Vince giving the speech to everybody.
Right.
Because that's the second time I think I heard that, because somebody else did it in a promo too, to like Rib. You could tell there's like an afternoon meeting where Vince is like, and when you're out there, I want everyone to talk, get really into it. This is Hell in a Cell. And that's how I want you guys to pitch it. Yeah. So, that kind of became probably like a locker room Rib where everyone gets to do their little master shoot, but they did it tonight. It popped me for a second.
Yeah. Well, Ben, a lot of people though, like were belly aching about the red cell. I liked it, bro. I mean, I was there for the original Cell. I like this. I thought it popped. I thought it was colorful. I had no problems with the new Cell.
I agree. On camera, it looked good. Live crowd, I'm not sure if the human eye could adjust to what versus what camera is. So maybe they were a little confused. I don't know. I didn't really check the Twitter feed or anybody with that. But, people are going to want to have something to bitch about, and especially people fear change. This was a bold try, and I think it was absolutely a success to make that red cage. It really set it apart and refreshed instead of just trying to we're trying to do what they did. Let's forget about it. It gave the new fans something to be like, that was cool.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was attractive. I thought it popped. I thought it was well done. And Ben, I got to tell you, bro, Ben, I thought this first match was the best match of the night.
Okay. Yeah,
and I'll tell you why, bro. Bro, here's the thing. Like, this is the first thing I said to myself, bro. And Ben, you'll appreciate this. How the hell are you going to put Jeff Hardy in the first match in that cell and have anybody follow that?
Absolutely.
Of all people, bro, like Jeff Hardy. That's where, Ben, I thought they did a magnificent job in this match. There was heat in this match. There was a story in this match. They pulled out all the toys. They had a creative match for the finish where they used the cage, but they really didn't use the cage. And Ben, I got to tell you, I had to look away from that screwdriver spot, bro. I could not watch that. I had to look away. So I thought this match right here, I thought this match had all the ingredients. I thought it got off to a phenomenal start.
Yeah, I was a little, taken aback that they would open with this too, because these guys are going to jump off the Empire State Building right out of the gate, and sure, you might want to start hot, but I don't know what was there left, but I agree with you. It ended up working how it was. I don't like surgery and stuff like that to watch it. Like, I know Al Snow loves that stuff. Like, he loves those surgeon shows, but for some reason, him doing the screwdriver spot and all the stuff that weirds you out does not weird me out as much. I was into it, and I was like, yeah, that's good heel sadistic shit. I want to get an opportunity to work somebody with ears like that so I can do something now.
I swear to God, Ben, I thought this was like two veterans getting together in the back and basically saying, okay, bro, here's what we're going to do. We're going to steal the show without really stealing the show. That's exactly what they did, bro, in my opinion.
I think those guys don't need to do that because they've been around so long and been through so many locker rooms and trained by so many guys who, they can just do that with a look. However, I believe those exact words were said between Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler, because they're like, dude, this is what we got. We're using all the false finishes. We're doing everything. And you felt that in the match after with AJ and Joe. Like, they were still hot for stuff, but they had to really work to get the crowd back after everything that happened in the match before that. But absolutely, that's the kind of stuff that goes on there of guys like, hey, I don't care where we are in the crowd. Let's steal it tonight.
But Ben, it always didn't used to be that way, bro. Yeah, I mean, it was really looked at. You're caught in the spot. What were we doing in our match that you're not doing in your match? You know, who's got to get the spotlight? I mean, bro, like let's take, for instance, let's just be honest here.
There's a whole. That's the Booker side that I was lucky to learn from Al and Rip at OVW of how to actually build a card. And there's things you can do in the first matches to establish wrestling that later in your main events can mean so much more. So if guys are just going out there to glory hound and really steal it the first, third, fifth, so when your main event comes, they might not have been as hot for Brock, even though they could have been that much hotter, but those guys burned all that for their selfishness, and it was still dope. But, that's not how you properly build a card where you have an overarching show that really takes the audience on a big ride.
Well, do you think in this first match, Jeff and Orton did some stuff they shouldn't have done?
No, I don't. I thought it was going to be like that. I was like, holy shit, when Jeff dropped off the top there, off the I-beam or whatever it is, and like hit on his ribs and forearms, dude, that just felt like a bad stinger to me. Like, that's going to be really rough for a couple days. Yeah. That bump he took. Everything else on the ladders and whatnot was there, but it was more visual than it was high impact,
Yeah. Well, see, now the second match, though, bro, even though, the girls worked their asses off in this match, there were these are two tremendous athletes. I mean, there's no doubt about that. The problem I had with this match going in, Ben, was the psychology. To me, the way they've built the match, and they were best friends, and then Becky turned on Charlotte, this match should have been a fight. For them to start this match and it was wrestling. So, bro, what I'm thinking of, Ben, is, okay, well, they're going to start it as a wrestling match. Then it's going to get out of hand and it's going to turn into that brawl. But that never happened either. So where I felt these girls had a solid match and they worked their ass off, bro, my problem with it was I don't think this was the right psychology for the match, Ben.
I agree with that, and that's how a match really should break down. If you're a non-traditional gimmick heel like myself, it should start with wrestling until the heel gets frustrated that the babyface keeps out wrestling them, and that's when they have to go to a strike or a cheat or something along those lines, and that's when you're getting your heat on the babyface, and now the babyface can retaliate with strikes. Before that, they shouldn't. They should always be wrestling. So that you're right. They didn't really tell that story enough. The story is a friendship broken and one claiming their spot and stepping out of the spotlight. So they could have tried to out wrestle each other with doing the bow. And I just out wrestled you, some King Regal stuff. Right. And they just never really brought it back to that. It was just a lot of catch and get in and get out of things. And then at the end, I think they missed the opportunity with, Becky wins the title and they kind of have her do a little baby face, go around the horn and show off the title that I'm the champ now, instead of just standing right in Charlotte's face and rubbing her face in it. You know what I mean? Like they didn't really separate that line. They kept her way closer to babyface because of how the crowd was. So the crowd knows they have power to do that, and that's a dangerous thing to give them.
Yeah, and I really wonder, Ben, I swear to God, I really wonder if there is somebody there actually giving her direction of how to act after she wins the title.
I think absolutely. But that we talked about this last week and a little bit the week before, because of that they didn't really pay this off at the payoff show before when they should have, and turned her heel then. They waited, kept it on Charlotte to pay it off, that on the triple threat. Now it just means a little bit less because the crowd was already doing 2 or 3 weeks of baby of saying, yeah, we want it. Right.
Yeah.
So how do you have her flip on the crowd when they're going over for her?
Yeah.
So that could have been tonight. If they wanted to keep her neutral babyface, Charlotte, being Ric Flair's daughter, dirtiest player in the game, could have definitely sabotaged her after the match. And you could have turned Charlotte on a dime like that too. But no one made a strong choice to do anything out of this.
Yeah. And that's the thing, Ben, I swear to God, the most confusing thing to me is, like the people they should keep the belts on, bro. That they should either build as the baby face or the heel. The people that are the best and the most believable, like to me, if I'm running this promotion, I'm not taking the belt off of Charlotte. I think Charlotte is that good and Charlotte is that believable. She's come a long way with her promos. I do think she should be a heel, but I'm not taking the belt off of Charlotte. Same thing with Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss was doing a phenomenal job as a heel. She was cutting great promos. You build that. Then when she gets beat, it means something, because here's where they make a mistake on top of that. Not only do they not keep the titles on the best performers, and by performers, I don't just mean the best workers. I mean the best entertainers. Bro, they run into a problem where every time these people drop the belts, they fall down in the card. They can't keep them at that level without those belts. Charlotte is just one of those people to me that I believe she's the best. What she does at her size is believable. I would be keeping that belt on her. That's me.
No, I definitely see your point there. They also go the other school of thought of, we need to make somebody with this title, to pay it off and put that on them. But if you really wanted to invest, I mean, I say this all the time, and some of my co-hosts get hot about it, but belts are phony, and they say who's champion and no one really wins. But at the same time, character is just as important, if not more so, than that belt. So if they would invest that in their mind and say, all right, because Becky doesn't have the belt, watch her lose it and go even more heel and do more character development. You're still getting the same amount of TV time. You're actually getting to do more richer character work and expand your character's base of their storyline, which way they can go left and right, and how the pendulum can swing with them. But instead, it's like, all right, got the belt on her, made her, but we didn't actually make a heel. We didn't actually make a baby face. We have this person in between, and now we have, like you said, a champion blue chip property with no belt. What's their story? Where do
they just did that with Carmella.
Yeah.
Same thing. We'll put the belt on Carmella. That's going to raise her stock. Same exact thing. They took the belt off of her And now she's right back to where she was. Once you win that belt, bro, you're supposed to be elevated, which means if you drop the belt, you're still supposed to be elevated.
Right.
Carmella, they put the belt, they elevated her. She dropped the belt. Now she's going to be right back down in the middle of the pack. That's not how you get people over, bro.
Yeah, or they have to have a strong character trait where it becomes their thing, you know?
Right.
Oh.
And bro, I got to tell you, I'm going to tell you flat out, watching this match, there is no doubt in my mind that both Becky and Charlotte throw better punches than Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins.
I can't disagree with you there, man.
Without a shadow of a doubt, bro.
I was actually watching Rollins' punches, and maybe they were listening because they were a little sharper than they were last week when we talked on Raw with that pitter-pat stuff.
Yeah.
But
well, next up, bro, was that match between Ziggler and McIntyre and Ambrose and Rollins. You know, bro, see, this was a situation with me, like, as I'm watching this match. See, bro, here's what people don't understand. When you don't have character development and you don't have storylines, the only way you can give the talent exposure is to put them in a ring with a match. So, like, while I'm watching this was one of those matches where, like, I felt like I saw this 1,000 times before. You know, I mean, we were seeing this every week, whether it was Rollins and Ziggler or Ziggler and Ambrose or McIntyre. We were seeing this in this match 100 times before.
I can understand that. To me, this is what stole the show, though. But for my reasons of looking at it, you know, from an in-ring performer and timing in the story they told, this was my favorite match on the card tonight. So
break that down for me. Why?
They had a lot of good wrestling and counter sequences. They burned their false finishes and had the crowd where they wanted to have it believable that somebody was going over, and their cutoffs on things right into the finish where it looked like the Shield was going over, and he comes in with the flying knee lift and hits him, and it's like the double knockout pin. There was just a lot of beauty in the way this match built with false finishes to, like, either team was believably about to win and the stakes were there for them to go over. And, you know, then it even really paid off more in the main event when they came back down because they weren't dead and killed. This was a straight up, to me, you know, I started and I do a lot of tag team wrestling. Like, this is an OVW purist tag team wrestling match with Dolph Ziggler and McIntyre, how I've been taught to do it. And from the way they did the, you know, false tag and the ref doesn't see it, comes in, gets them out, they get heat on them, all that kind of stuff. I just really liked it, man. So
see what the things
this was the best Dean Ambrose match I think he's ever had. That's
the two things I didn't like about it, Ben, I'll be honest with you. There were two things I didn't like about it. First, I mean, bro, I wish I would have counted the false finishes. I mean, bro,
I stopped at 9.
Yeah, I mean, there are so freaking nothing beats anybody anymore. And but bro, here's another thing I don't like, bro. I don't think they should book Drew McIntyre as just another guy.
I don't think they have. He hasn't lost.
He hasn't lost, bro, but he's in this match selling just as much as Ziggler is.
I agree. Agree.
That's what I don't like because, bro, these guys literally are half the size of McIntyre. I mean, see, I would book this thing in such a way where, you know, Ambrose and Rollins are maybe getting heat on Ziggler, then he tags the big man in. But the way they book the match, it's like, you know, McIntyre might as well be the same size as the other three because they're not, to me, they're not treating him as this special, freakish looking wrestler.
Yeah, that's a little bit of column A and B of him not saying, hey, guys, I should protect my size a little bit more. I know I'm not too much bigger, but when I come in and clean house, he did come in and clean house once when he was, you know, Ziggler was under duress and made his saves. But like those guys too, not selling for him the right way is the other part of that. So they should want to know because when somebody does beat him, which will probably be like a Seth Rollins, it'll mean that much more. They're thinking short term, I need to look strong. I need to look like, hey, if he goes, hey, I'm big, Rollins is going to go, hey, I'm a former world champ.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to go in this shitty world of wrestling, instead of two creative guys going, dude, he should look this way. He should, and the other guy's going to go, fuck that. My stock price is already high enough. I don't got to sell for you. You haven't been champ yet.
Yeah, I just hate when they got a guy that looks like that, man. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, man.
You know, bro, let me ask you this now, because you hit upon it. Now I'm going to dive into this a little bit more.
Yeah.
When Joe and AJ are in the back watching this, are they getting pissed off, bro?
They're not watching. They might have watched the last like 2 or 3 minutes if they're in Gorilla.
They're going over their match.
They're probably going over their shit. But then I thought about that too, and I go, are these guys that comfortable that we're just watching Impact house shows shit that they did for years that they can just go into it? But then I was like, the crowd wasn't with it, and they didn't really tell the story I thought they were gonna in this. Like, what was the whole nighttime storybook shit was about? Doing what to AJ? What did he tell me he was gonna do?
Well, he was getting in his head. It was psychological warfare, right?
He's gonna put him to sleep.
Yeah.
He's been doing the Z on the pillow thing while they're doing the face off, right?
Yeah.
Right away, everything he should have done should have been to get the cocaine clutch on him. And it didn't come till 3/4. Like, they were having a battle back and forth of, let me beat you up and wear you down. Everything should have been him almost getting choked out. And they should have come up with 20 different innovative ways of getting into it and getting out of it.
Yeah. I got to tell you, and Ben, again, I am a little jaded. I had seen this match a million times before. Bro, I was bored to death with this match. I was just bored. I don't know if Joe was blowed up or what, but it was a creative finish to keep it going. I thought they did a good finish to keep it going. But, bro, I mean, Ben, I was just bored to tears with this match.
Yeah, I asked my buddies, I go, where do we see this match or this type of finish before in the 90s? And I can't remember, it was your era. I know Rollins, something happened with Rollins that was similar, but something took me back to Bret Hart era, where it was similar to this, where it was a tap out pin and the ref didn't see. So heat on the ref, and there'll be a big replay of everything. I can't remember what it was specifically. So if any Realm brand you want to hit me up at bin_Hamin. Can't remember what it was. I was just seeing too much. But yeah, the match before this made it a lot harder for them to hold the crowd, and that's going to make it seem boring at home. It was a lot slower, a lot less, nobody to break things up, just real personal heat. But like I said, I wanted a chokeout story, and I didn't get one.
Yeah,
not till the very end. But I liked that pin too.
I like the finish. I did like the finish. I thought that was smart. Next, we had the mixed tag with Miz and Maurice and Bree and Daniel.
It was an alien invasion there when they were coming out.
Yeah. Tell me what you thought about this match.
Yeah, this was the worst match of the night, no doubt about it. They went from Bree mode to botch mode at the end. It was ugly. The strikes from the girls look almost as good as Rollins, but they were pretty sloppy. And Daniel Bryan says, "Screw your tanning salon, screw your tanning bed, and your spray tan. I'm going as white as I possibly can." I think even Miz was ribbing about it when he took his shirt off. He stuck out, like he looks a lot smaller. Doesn't really look like a star right now, right? And your team's only as strong as your weakest link. And I think after Bree dove and landed on her head 2 times last week, that link isn't too strong right now. So,
and what you think about this finish? Very kabuki-ish, no?
It just was roll through, roll up pin, right? There was no heat to get in. There was no finisher. So, like I said, we went from Bree mode to botch mode. I think there was supposed to be something there, and there wasn't, man.
Yeah, no, this
it was. Yeah. Hey, man, I've been in shitty matches myself before, just not in front of however many people watching on pay-per-view.
Okay, next we had Alexa and Ronda Rousey. Ronda had the Mantar makeup. People were pointing out.
Mantar makeup.
Yeah, the Mantar makeup. Now this I liked. The 2 best matches for me were this and Hardy and bro, I gotta tell you something. Is freaking Ronda Rousey, is she the best seller on that roster? Like after 6 months, bro, how many times, bro, do we see Rollins land on his head, do this, and then get up and completely forgot it? Bro, yep. I was watching her closely. She never one time forgot to sell the rip. Not once, bro. Not once.
No. That's a world-class disciplined athlete who, when you tell them and show them they really want to do it, they're going to apply it. And even though she might have been UFC, I think her ego's out the window when it comes to actually learning this stuff, because her cells weren't even phony. A lot of times with somebody that green, like the way she would grit her teeth and do a lot of different facial expressions, I feel like she's in front of the mirror doing the work that needs to be done. You know, that they even put over that she has been going to NXT a lot to keep training and whatnot. But she definitely outshined. Alexa has a lot of the same stuff too. But like to see somebody that get it that fast was pretty incredible. And it was a great story carried over of heat on the ribs all the way from the last 3 weeks we've been watching it. It paid off great here. I got to give props to that. Her boobs almost coming out the whole
yeah, everybody was waiting for that on Twitch. But Ben, I even love to the very end, she was going to go climb up the rope and celebrate and didn't because of the ribs.
Well, let me tell you, that's probably my favorite part of this whole show. Because remember when Daniel Bryan won the title and his ribs were all effed up, like he was destroyed, and he got on the rope at Mania afterwards, and he holds the title up and does that after the whole story was about his ribs, and Ronda Rousey got it right, and Daniel Bryan got it absolutely wrong.
Beautiful.
Yep.
The only thing is, let me ask you this, Ben. Here's the only thing to me. I loved it all. I love Alexa Bliss. Mickie James looked hot. There was one thing that looked really horrible. I think when Ronda threw Alexa to the outside and like Mickie had to grab her and throw her on top. That looked bad. But put that aside. Mickie looked tremendous. The only thing that was bothering me a little bit is because of the reputation Ronda Rousey comes in with. Can you believe that somebody like Alexa Bliss could have gotten this much heat on her?
I said early on with my friends watching, I go, she should beat her in 3 to 4 minutes. And then I was like, maybe not, because she's getting good heat here. And the whole story was about her going in with injured ribs. I would usually have the ribs taped. You know what I mean? Something really visual for someone who hadn't been following, and they got it over on commentary. So, I don't know. I think kind of the same way. And then I had to eat my words on that one, man, because I believed Alexa's heat on her with going right back to the anchor hold of the kind of seated abdominal stretch. I really liked that. I thought it was good because it allowed the crowd to, get behind Ronda again and get her to hulk up, which is what we really want to see from her, to where she snaps and then goes into Ronda Rousey straight up ass kicker mode. So she's doing what we do very well. And then when it's time for her to do what she's naturally, muscle memory to do, she goes right into it. I do get a little scared for workers on some of those like release throws, because that's not really what we train a lot of times, to like, oh, I'm flying through the air to take a face bump, and it's in the worst part of the ring, and I've just been launched and not placed. So there's a couple things like that I'm always a little sketchy on.
The only thing I didn't like, man, and it's a little thing, but I swear to God, Ben, somebody put together like I think it might have been Mike Durbin of the brand. Somebody put together like a short compilation of a bunch of my videos I did at TNA. Okay, bro. And like I watched them like back to back to back, 30 seconds, 45, 20. It was a whole thing. And like I was always like very real and in the moment. Like if this shit were real, these are the things I'd be saying. this is the way I'd be saying it, and that's why a lot of times I'm critical of Heyman because, he's that cartoon character. And I'm like, no, bro, like if this stuff were going on for freaking real, you wouldn't be Mo from the Three Stooges. You just wouldn't be.
Would Vince Russo have sprayed Mick Foley in the eyes with pepper spray?
No, I would have kicked him right square in the balls and then kicked the shit out of him when he was down. That's what I would have done.
For the hip.
That's what I would have done.
Gimmick, yeah.
And here's the one spot that bothered me because they got to be so careful with this shit, especially when it's Rousey because of the UFC and it's so believable, bro. This was the one spot where I hated when, she was on Rousey and then Alexis had her hand on Rousey's throat. And then Ronda started hulking up. Yeah. And she gave that chicken shit. Bro, I just wish when Alexa would have saw her hulking up, she would have just popped her right in the face. And then like have Ronda not sell that.
Yeah, no sell, just register.
And then you just turn ahead and come back. Yeah. And now it's holy shit. But bro, they always gotta add that one little spot that makes you sit there and say, why did you do that, bro?
That's us and wrestlers being marks for everything from the 80s and 90s of what we loved of that shock stuff. Like I totally get what you're saying, but that's really what it is. And
that's never going to go away, right, Ben?
They do teach it. Well, it could change and should be used less. It's way overused. In almost every match, there's a shock, oh my God spot, or a, oh my God, brother, he's hulking up. What am I going to do? Run for the hills. I do it, my character has a lot of that, right? Like when I got somebody down and they're coming back, but when I'm supposed to be, really evil, I will be. But that's how you gotta, you kind of make somebody larger than life with that stuff, and that's the phony melodrama that is wrestling that's built into it, that, evil heel twisting his mustache, tie the damsel on the train track stuff, like that's what it still stems from.
Yeah. All right, Ben, talk to me now about this. You give me your synopsis and then I'll join in about
that. Ronda's chest looked really nice in that top. I thought it was an excellent choice.
It was almost nippy slippy. Everybody was looking. Can I say that? Am I still allowed to say that, Ben?
Yeah, I think you can.
That on the list, nip slip?
Probably.
Okay.
We haven't even had a FUPA sighting on this show in a long time, so that's fine.
What was I? Oh God, I was looking at something yesterday. A brand new there was a brand new conspiracy I was looking at yesterday. It'll come to me. I'll think of it.
I got one for you too.
Ben, tell me about the main event.
Yeah, because you were definitely talking to your followers on twitch.tv/Russo brand. But, the match was good back and forth, and they put heat on Mick. There was a really close count. And I thought they were going to do something else out of this where Braun corners Mick. And then, he turns around and that's where Reigns gets back on top. But it really wasn't that. It was a lot of back and forth, 50-50. With the Superman punch. And this is, even though Reigns is your big dog, this kind of goes back to what you're talking about earlier with McIntyre. Should they be going 50-50 with Braun, dude? Like Braun can break out the steps and the hardware and all that stuff, and he's going to do his hardcore spots. But I think, if you're fighting a giant, you're fighting from underneath the whole time. And there was a little bit too much back and forth. And then we get, continuation. Shield runs, Ziggler and McIntyre run down. Shield comes down to save. Then we get all this stuff on top of the cage of them paying it off. But before that, this is the spot I was going to talk to you about that I'm tired of too, because it's so predictable. Cleaning off the tables of the monitors and all this shit. Dude, if I'm going to kill you, I'm not going to go, I better flatten this out, right?
If I'm going to kill you, I'm going to let that freaking monitor dig right into your freaking abdomen and slice you open.
I want you to go to the emergency room, be the first guy to have, an LCD screen removed.
Exactly. Right.
Not like, better clean it up. So, some phony stage stunt man, MGM, Disney World bullshit's about to happen, right? So they go up to the top of the cage, pay respect to the Foley Taker stuff. It's good. They should have done a little bit more of like, whoa, I'm getting you close to throwing you off. No, you're going to stop. They didn't play that game. They all do a quadruple down where everybody's knocked out. And then, Ziggler shimmies over to get into position where the footholds are carved into the fence of the cage. It's not like we can't see them, so it's like, all right, we've practiced this stuntman spot, of where it is, where we're supposed to be, and how are we both going to go off? Oh, we'll do headbutts back, or, off the post, off the cage, back and forth. And then we'll do a double one and we'll both fall. And it just felt like such, any 1980s stunt show, A-team type shit. So that all goes down, and then Brock Lesnar comes down and everybody gets killed.
No finish though.
Finish. And I kind of called that in the beginning of when I was talking to my bros too, and in the Hamin media discussion group, that you could go no finish here. Absolutely. Because it did get stooged off that Brock was in the back beforehand. So I love when they put stuff over on commentary. You can hear it through the headset of like, nobody knew this was coming. They had no idea.
Michael Cole, I swear to God, Michael Cole needs to, I worked with Michael. Yeah. He's a great guy. This isn't a personal thing at all. Michael, you sound like an imbecile. Yep. I swear to God, bro, sit down and listen to yourself for 3 hours. You sound like a blithering idiot. And bro, what was the? You got to explain this to me because I'm not sharp. Okay. What was it? What's the Diablo reference? What was Diablo? What is that?
He's the devil. The devil is
Diablo. They call the devil Diablo.
Yeah, in Mexican. Yeah,
I did not know that.
In Spanish, I guess not. Mexican.
Can we go over a couple things here?
Yeah, sure, man.
What else you got? Go ahead.
He called something earlier tonight that pissed me off too. In that match I liked with the tag match Shield and Ziggler and McIntyre was what a great sequence of moves. Like, don't talk about my sequence, how I put shit together, dude. It's just, to me, when he says that, all I can hear in the back is duck one, move on this, hip toss, shoot reverse. Don't, dude, you're exposing so badly, and you're not a guy who should be doing that at all, so.
Let's talk about this match here for a little bit. Let me tell you my reaction.
Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, refresh my memory. Because I don't like the way this was laid out at all, and I'll tell you why. What was the move that had Reigns and Strowman, two guys that size,
laid out for
12 minutes? Do you remember? Like, what was it that laid?
He speared him through the table.
Okay, so Reigns speared Strowman through the table, and they were both out for 12 minutes. That was the spot.
Yep.
See, that right there was a little unbelievable to me. Why these guys are fighting? This one's climbing, that one's climbing. Ziggler's up. These guys, these monsters are still dead in the ring. Okay, yeah. Bro, I swear to God, they're getting to the point now. Tell me if I'm wrong, Ben. They're getting to the point now of the bump off the cell means nothing. I mean, this was okay, somebody needs to take a bump off the cage. Who's going to take it and how are we going to do it? I mean, that's basically what it was. Yeah, Vince McMahon took that same bump, bro.
Yeah, Kevin Owens, Shane has gone off the top,
right.
I understand you want to pay respect to the 20-year thing, and that's probably why they wrote it in there.
Yeah, but like I said, but that's what it's getting to be now. Like, okay, who's gonna take the bump off the cage? But like, it's like now we've seen everything. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know, bro. When's the last time been? Because I haven't been watching the WWF for a long, long time. I started watching the last 4 years. When was the last time the Hell in the Cell match was the bloodbath? Do you recall?
It's been a while, man. Oh man, I want to say, didn't Rollins have one that was pretty bloody?
Man, I would just love to see them go back to that. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's got to take, because this was a lame bump. I mean, it was such a lame bump, and God, we've seen bumps like this on freaking Raw. Like, what? Why? It meant nothing, bro. It's not a bump people are going to be talking about. So why take the freaking chance of doing it just for the sake of doing it?
Yeah, because they're marks for their own history to put it over.
But come on, bro. People are gonna compare that to what we saw Mick do. They played that over and over and over on TV. That looks like they're going down a freaking water slide compared to what Mick did.
Yeah, and I'm sure they both suck, but yeah, that's the only purpose for it, because to get into it really did interrupt the match. Took too long. Like you said, those two guys were down. So you don't want to split focus with what's going on top and what's in the ring. So those guys just played dead in there, but it was too long. And I bet they are in the back now going, yeah, I liked it, bro. But I wish while we were down there, we had actually come up with 2 double down spots where once those guys are all fall down, we go right back when all 4 of them went down there up there. And, before they started shimmying over, that's when Braun and Roman should have got up, done a little something there. They get taken out. Those guys come to life back up there and come back down. The timing just wasn't there. They missed a step.
Yeah. And he is what I would have done, bro. But Vince is so freaking hell bent on freaking you're gonna cheer for Reigns, man. Whether you like it or not, you're gonna freaking cheer for Reigns. Bro, here's what I would have done, and this is what I thought they were going for.
Yeah, pal, give it to me.
If it were me, bro, first Lesnar F5 Strowman.
Right.
Then he F5'd Reigns on top of Strowman.
Yeah.
Why didn't the referee count 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, that'd been good, right?
You know how much more heat you would have gotten on Reigns. And then I would have Reigns come back and said, bro, there ain't going to be no rematch, bro. I pinned you in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. That's what you got to do.
That's good.
But and I don't know. I thought, bro, I swear to God, I thought they were going there when he F5'd them on top of Strowman. I'm like, oh my God, these people will go freaking ballistic. I don't know why they didn't go there.
Yeah, I totally think that you're right on that too, but they could have. I see the other Russo way of you being a little bit happy of them being like, they went off with a no finish, which is kind of a ballsy call on your pay-per-view, right? As a payoff for the Money in the Bank cash in, to be like no finish. That's how serious Brock Lesnar's beatings are. And he did lay it on him with broken pieces of table and shit. That looked pretty violent. And he's got his fall hunting beard growing in. He's looking good, getting ready to, and he just came down to massacre some people. I don't know if we needed Paulie spraying Foley in the eyes with, pepper spray or anything, but you do got to take Mick out of there to equalize it. So, I like the way it went off the air that way, but definitely that would have had the Roman Reigns haters, their heads would have exploded on that one, boy.
Now, let me ask you this simple question, right? Why didn't Brock take out Mick?
Because
why would you have Heyman do that? Why wouldn't you have Brock
I'd like to invent the reason in my head that that Mick buried Heyman for some money that he owed him from back in the day in a shoot, and then Heyman's like, "You're not going to bury me in public, you son of a bitch," and Brock's like, "I'll kill him." He's like, "No, I got this, Brock," and he pulls it out the shit.
Yeah,
that's just my own little backstories I like to write in my head.
Yeah, because that part of it I did not understand.
Oh, you didn't watch the RF video where Mick buries Paul for 20 minutes and that was all payback?
Does he really? Tell me about that. No, I did not watch that.
Oh yeah, he talks all about. No, there was one interesting thing where I thought this was a little egregious. They did well. Our favorite, opposite racism, white voice, black guy character came back in the New Day to do his little news bit, and they brought in this kid with a monocle who fetches them things, which is pretty much stolen right from the Broken Universe stuff with the scribe. But I think it was Dewey Foley, and I think they did it just to have Dewey on a pay-per-view with his dad one time in the history.
Well, that's nice if they did.
I think they did do that. So, it was a wrestle crap moment for him, but at least they got to, is one piece of history. It could be wrong. It might not be him, but I think it was.
Bro, I cannot believe how many people on Twitch, bro, thought Mick Foley was going to take a crazy bump. I'm like, are you people freaking nuts, bro? Like, they really believed Mick was going to take some kind of a crazy bump?
Well, I thought they were going to put more heat on him because Braun did start to corner him, but then that just kind of went away. You know, like there wasn't a spot where Foley pulls out Sacco and gets it on somebody. You know what I mean? If anything, you know, maybe that would have been some get back on Heyman, but they wanted heels up at this point. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but why don't you give Mick his moment by putting Sacco on Heyman?
Yeah,
and then having Brock destroy Mick.
Yeah, absolutely could, but I heard Mick's on the do not touch list because of the hip replacement, so I don't think he could take any bumps. But you could have done it that way where, you know, he gets Sacco on Heyman, and then Heyman pulls up the pepper spray and sprays him to get him off him.
Yeah, because think about it, man. What did you really give Mick here?
You know, burning eyes, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole night, though. The whole night. I mean, you should have gave Mick some spot, something.
Right. Yeah, they did just a little bit backstage, but there wasn't anything for him to be the real equalizer of justice that a referee needs to be, who's a legend. There needs to be one spot in there where something's really going on where they get back.
Something. So overall, Ben, what do you think of this show?
Man, for a pretty terrible Monday and Tuesday lead in, you know, I thought the go home shows were really weak. They just lowered my expectations for this. So it really was good to me, to be honest with you. Like, aside from the reality stars match, that was pretty bad, and a couple of ball drops in the beginning. Oh, on the pre-show, they messed up bad by putting New Day over with the titles, because the people are behind Aiden English and Rusev Big, and it wouldn't have hurt New Day at all, and they just missed the mark. That was a total mistake.
I don't understand that either. Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah. But if I'm going to give it 144 Meltzers out of a possible 2 million.
Very nice. Very nice. You know what, bro? It was, I'm not going to say, hey, listen, Ben, I don't even know if I could say anymore that, I watched a wrestling show or a wrestling pay-per-view and it was enjoyable to me. I don't know if I could say that. I think I'm past the enjoyable. But it was definitely watchable. I watched it for 3 hours, bro. There are Monday nights where I'm like, bro, please just let me watch the football game. You know, the Giants were playing Dallas tonight, bro, and I would have liked to watch that game. And if this would have sucked, I would have been pissed off. You know what I'm saying, bro? I would have been like, I'm missing a freaking football game for this shit. But it wasn't that, bro. I mean, you know, I think they did a good job with it. It held my interest. It kept me watching. So, I mean, I thought they did a good job with it.
I can't disagree, man. There was a lot of points I really liked, and things where I get hot about buckle bomb to jump out, Superman punch, no cells. And then when I see Ziggler take one buckle bomb and he falls out, and that's a pin, and a believable pin. To me, those are the little victories where I'm like, yeah, there's somebody doing it right in the ring with the guys who I watch do it completely wrong over and over again. Maybe they're learning just a little something of what it takes. That's the difference between being good at this stuff and being a master at your craft. And I think Ziggler and McIntyre, and I'm biased, obviously, but a lot of guys with that OVW pedigree will lead guys like that who are ROH indie stars who don't have, I don't care if you're Triple H's boy or not. Like, that's just, if you didn't train it, you don't know it all the time, it's not going to be there. And those guys have it. So that's what I look for in matches like that. And it really stuck out to me. There's so much more they could be doing with Becky Lynch, but they're not committing to anything.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, man, you talk about
13-20 Cowboys.
Oh, Cowboys are winning. What is it?
20-13 Cowboys won.
Oh, bro, let me ask you this. Why is AJ Styles the champion? Like, what they are doing absolutely nothing with him. And AJ Styles will have great matches with or without the title.
Why was Cena champ for so long? Merch sales.
AJ selling that much merch, you think, bro?
He's the new Cena, dude. Him and Reigns are the top two merch sellers.
Really? Yeah. Well, wow. Because because you just said they do nothing with Becky, bro. They do nothing with AJ. Nothing. Zero. Nothing.
They think this blood feud and friendship stuff is I
And
know.
what was Wendy doing that she couldn't go to tonight's show?
I know they couldn't get a sitter.
Ugh. Bro, listen, forget all that. We put it over. What's this new conspiracy now?
Well, you may have heard it. It made a lot of news sources, but the observatory that was shut down, the Association of Astronomy, Aura, that was pretty much evacuated in New Mexico, I believe. Yeah. And the FBI came in, and the whole place is a ghost town. It's like it's a big observatory complex with multiple buildings, and they just shut the whole thing down. And then there's these reports of a big fleet that's very near the sun of possible alien ships. There's been more and more meteors in the last week and a half than we've really ever seen. Massive storm, obviously, with Florence. What's going on? Something strange is happening. Why would you clear out an observatory with the FBI and make it a ghost town? Or did they see something in front of the sun? Is there really a fleet in our solar system of alien ships? People want to rib about Trump and the space, Navy or whatever, the Space Force, right? What if that's just the slow conditioning to what's really happening with invading forces and fleets? There's a lot of alien activity right now, and that's a very strange thing that went public this week.
Where is that located?
Let me double check.
And how many people were evacuated?
The whole staff. I mean, the FBI just shut the whole place down. It's in New Mexico.
New Mexico. That's where it's all going. But did they give a reason?
I can just read some of this copy here. It says that a small solar observatory tucked away in the woods of a national forest here, scientists and other personnel, and this is in Sunspot, New Mexico, and other personnel were commanded last week to leave at once. A week later, the facility remains vacant, and no one is willing to say why. The mysterious and lengthy evacuation in a state known for secret military testing and suspected UFO crash has spawned a wealth of speculation. Did the researchers spot something extraterrestrial? Was the solar telescope hacked by a foreign power and deployed to spy on, say, the state's missile test range? Or is there an innocuous explanation suppressed only because of corporate and government resistance to transparency? Pretty interesting, man. So like before that happened, that we were passing around a story of something is being seen in front of the sun by a lot of people with telescopes. Some people have seen it as like a massive moon that actually did like an eclipse of it. And then other people have seen like what look like almost star destroyers from Star Wars, man, like strange ships.
Are you going to talk about that this week on Conspiracy?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. You see, I'm like 3 or 4 conspiracies behind because I'm still trying to figure out if Michelle Obama is a man.
Well, they never stop, unfortunately. Most of the time they never stop. So it's been a crazy ride. The Bermuda Triangle was a lot of fun. We had Crow 777 on last week to talk about, First Amendment being abolished, and they're pretty much banning books from Amazon now. So that's just like Fahrenheit 451, the novel that way in 1984, Orwell type stuff. And then we talked different new 9/11 conspiracies for another 9/11 show. It was nice.
Stevie was telling me something, bro. He sent it to me about prior to 9/11, there were a bunch of students.
Yeah, Israeli art students that had a whole like section of a floor. And they were actually allowed to take out the glass of the windows of a skyscraper and do a thing where they're like looking down, which is strange. But they were there for over 6 months, and there was pictures of the room they were in, and it was all lined with cardboard. They even took out like the ceiling tiles and stuff, how it'd be, in like an office space. And on the cardboard, someone had actually, of one of the pictures they took, there's like a serial number, and someone looked it up, traced it all the way back through off of the box's markings and codes. And it turned out to be for detonator caps, for blasting caps. So now you have Israeli students there, and 5 of whom later were outed as Mossad agents and have actually given interviews. You can find the interviews with them on there that they were there, and they were Mossad agents doing intelligence to get back to Israel about how successful this operation was. And we've talked about, everything being controlled demolition. If you look at World Trade Center 7 or 1 and 2 even. I mean, that planes hit those buildings. So obviously in your mind, it's tough to apply all that, but there's no doubt about World Trade Center 7. And these guys were in building 1. So like the access they had, why would these art students have blasting caps? Obviously it's a cover story. You know, there's a lot of different ones, from energy weapons to holograms to missiles hitting the Pentagon, missing footage, finding Muhammad Atta's passport in the debris within 48 hours. Like, you know, there's just so much craziness.
Is this the first time though that story has surfaced?
No, that's been around for about 13 years, but for some reason this year there was a real push for it. And there's even footage of Benjamin Netanyahu saying since 9/11, no one's benefited more than Israel. And to me, that means they wanted us to feel their fear and would carry out a false flag attack so the military industrial complex could take over, so they could have missile shields, laser weapons, like access to a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they're not as afraid of as we are because their enemy isn't right on their border. So let's make them afraid and we'll get what we want security wise.
Gee,
like that to me is like the backstage work that went on, you know what I mean, in the office. So it was an interesting show, no doubt, man. And I'm sure we'll talk about that story we just talked about now with the alien stuff, and see what else comes out in the next 24 to 36 hours, you know, because people are talking about HARP weather weapons with Florence being such a powerful storm. There's a conspiracy that China actually, with their HARP system, enhanced that storm and made it more powerful than anything else. And are we like using our HARP radio wave systems to try and push it back and knock it down? There's a whole lot of stuff going on this week.
Hey, Ben, what is the one most famous conspiracy theory that actually was proven?
The JFK wasn't killed by a lone gunman, I'd say.
But has that really been proven?
Well, I mean, all the documents came out in November that there was, you know, X amount of CIA hits and people there and paid mob guys there, and everything from Cuban assassins working with the CIA and gun running. So, you know, and just the timeline, no one's going to be like, yep, we did it. But there was that kind of sense of vilification after 40, 50 years, right, of that being the biggest one ever. And we just kind of glossed over that in November instead of being like, all right, let's pick this apart more and see what's going on.
You know what I was just watching, believe it or not? See, listen, Ben, let's be honest here. Yeah. Ben, what's your IQ?
I don't know if I've ever been tested, to be honest with you.
What would you get? What's the highest an IQ can be?
I think it's like 200, but most like geniuses are, I believe, 140 to 160 level.
I'm going to give you a 150.
Okay.
My IQ is about 12.
All right.
So the stuff that interests me is stuff I can understand. Do you know, bro? See, I watched this and I was very intrigued by this. Dr. Phil, bro. Last Thursday and Friday, you know what his entire show was dedicated to?
Some type of conspiracy?
The death of Natalie Wood.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes, bro. Freak! I can't believe. I mean, there was the captain of the ship was. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't just walking and what's his face? Natalie Wood and Robert Wagner, the captain on the ship. I mean, bro, he freaking killed her as clear as day.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's so strange, almost like the Hearst murder, you know, and all that went down very similar. So to be, I think the more important, not that somebody's death isn't important, but as a salacious story that's been around for a while, what's more important is that what we call the Nancy Brown crowd. And I'm not trying to say you're a Nancy Brown, but like those Wisconsin moms who tune into Dr. Phil every day, who would never really talk about that kind of stuff, are getting a big dose of that from a source that is their go-to. If it's somebody like me and the Horseman telling them, you know, you might as well put earmuffs on them. They're not going to hear it. But,
Listen, Ben, just call me Nancy. All right, bro. Let's just get it out there. Just call me Nancy, bro.
All right, man. Nancy Brown.
And, bro, you know what came out of this, bro? That, like, I had never heard this before, bro. And I'm sure you have been because you know. Bro, you know what one of the theories is? That Christopher Walken and Robert Wagner were gay, and Natalie Wood perhaps walked in on them in the act, and that's what triggered the argument.
I definitely don't put that out of the realm of possibility.
I had never heard that before, bro. I never heard that story before. And they went back to say that there was an instance, bro, where Natalie Wood came home one day off the set, and she caught Robert Wagner doing the butler.
Well, there you go, man. The butler and the butler, too.
The butler and the butler, bro. And I'm like, oh, I never heard of that part of it, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the Hollywood salaciousness. The
crazy.
Even our industry is run by sexual, deviant, gay, you know, closet, queer, like not your LGBTQ pride, you know, like it's just a lot of like weird sexual dysfunction. And dude, we've seen that through Hollywood of what it's based on. That's just something that was tied to it in a time where there was only the National Enquirer. There wasn't TMZ and Twitter and all that shit, right? So you probably could get away with a closeted gay affair, have a beard for a woman out there, and then once it gets too close to becoming, you know, known that you're a gay actor, well, there go all these other parts possibly for you, believability wise, at that time, not judging by obviously the effed up world we live in today.
Yeah. Crazy, Ben.
Well, I'm proud of you though, man. I mean, you're
surprised, bro. I swear to God. But I'm going to tell you a couple of stories when we go off the air.
Okay.
All right. Ben, I cannot believe Vince McMahon. I mean, with less Nunez and everything going on with him and shit, and I cannot believe Vince McMahon has not been fingered for anything, bro. Do you think it's just because of the wrestling world and how everything is brotherhood and everything is kayfabe? Because I cannot believe that man has not been accused of anything.
No, they'll never get me either. I'll get away with it. You're a little damn dog, and those kids aren't going to bust Vince McMahon.
I'm like, I can't. Is it just because of how wrestling is?
You know, we do masters. Yeah, the answer is yes. But at the same time, I think we're ignorant to think that we're impervious to that shit, because it's going to, dude, we had the Randy Orton man shake story, right?
Yeah.
Pull his dick out and rub it and then go shake your hand to test you. And like, I did the master shoot where it's Vince actually like laughing about it. But the reason that's super funny is because of truth and comedy. That's probably 95% of how he would react after hearing that story of, oh, he's shitting his bag.
Ben, I have had this is a shoot. I've had 4 women from the wrestling business approach me and tell me they were either raped or there was an attempted rape by wrestlers. Four separate came to me because, you know, I mean, just what my show is. And then, you know, I guess really, I think my relationship with China had a lot to do with it and stuff like that. 4 women, but not one of them have ever come forward with it. Not one.
Yeah, that's are you going to break the brotherhood to do that? And to be honest with you, as being in the brotherhood, I say do it. Like, if you really want to regulate something and change something, and we always talk about, you know, who's going to do a union? No one's going to do a fucking union because everyone's out for themselves to some degree, and people are scared. But you know, unless these 4 girls are, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't be working, like they're going to have to be in locker rooms and deal with it. But if it's somebody who's not working anymore, they really need to take charge and be the one. Are you, especially in the climate that the precedent's been set with a Harvey Weinstein, a Bill Cosby, you know, like powerful, untouchable men are being unseated from power and touched where they don't like it.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
seem
no,
to be their wallets, and then in prison showers.
yeah.
So,
It's unbelievable. And I know the women. I mean, I know the women well, and I know they're telling me the truth. And it's that kayfabe brotherhood gimmick, bro. And I'm like, man, bro, if you're living with this your whole life and this is haunting you every night, and I don't know what to tell you. It's almost.
Everyone says kayfabe, but there's as many kayfabers. There's 3 times as many stooges. So be a stooge if you got a stooge.
Yeah.
Especially.
All right, tell me everything going on, and because I got to tell you a couple stories when we get off the air before you go to bed. What's going on in your world, Ben?
Man, I'm just like I said, celebrating an anniversary tomorrow. The 29th, I'll be with Dynasty Pro Wrestling in Westmoreland, New York. The return of Muhammad Hassan. We'll see if he's going to be my tag partner or what's going down. But the 2 most controversial men I would say probably in the last 20, 30 years of wrestling, Hacker Hamin and Muhammad Hassan, untouchable. So we'll see what's going on in Dynasty. You can check them out, dynastypro.com. And yeah, as always, prowrestlingtees.com/Bin Hamin. Numbers are up, doing well at hackerhamin.podbean.com. New $5 face slap video on my Instagram at Hacker Hamin if you haven't followed. But I just want to say thanks for the Realm Brand subscribers who scooped me to this tonight so you and I could hook it up, talk Hell in the Cell, man. I always like it when the stars align like that.
Ben, did you hear I paid tribute to you in my latest song parody? Did you hear that? I
didn't hear it. I'm sorry, man.
Can I tell you what the line is?
I would love to hear it.
The song parody was, you know how Meltzer's got that tongue wagging thing going, and I think he's a reptilian.
Yep.
So the song parody was, I want to wag my tongue all night and give stars every day, play to rock and roll all night and party every day. And there was homage to Ben. The song goes, it starts, Okada showed us that he's got such heart. We keep on chanting and we sweat and fart. Cody drives us wild. Bucks drive us crazy. Yeah. And you can say you want to jizz over Finn. For just $5, you'll get a slap from Ben.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I like that. Thank you.
All right, Ben, I got to let you go. This was a treat, bro. This was the first show you and me ever did together. It was a treat. I thank you so much for coming to my rescue, and I know the brand will really, really appreciate this, bro.
Oh, I'm happy to do it, man. Always a good time, and shout out to all the brand members out there.
All right. Everybody, I will see you tomorrow with Goldilocks. Join me, everybody. Same bat time, same bat channel.